First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ukakadash. Double honor to the elders that taught me this truth in all sincerity. My name is Mayam, and I have a lesson on who is Esau. So I'm going to get started with Genesis chapter 25 and 25. And then this would be a description on who Esau is. All right. And actually, I'm going to start from verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated in thy bowels. It's talking about Rebekah and Isaac. But this is for Rebekah. And Isaac is Abraham's son. So then, yes, for Rebekah, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. The elder hasn't served the younger yet. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. So the first baby came out red all over like a hairy garment. What nation of people on this earth, are red? Now that's you so-called white people. You only use the term white. You guys created that term in the 17th century, to have social control over the nation of Israel that you were enslaving. But yeah, that term white doesn't exist. There's no white. There's no black. I'm not black. My hair is black. I'm obviously not black. So, it's nation of Israel, nation of Esau, nation of Canaan, things like that. The Philistines, these are biblical nations. So then, yes. So then next I'll go to Genesis 36, and then I will describe, so much where Esau, was settling. All right. And then Genesis chapter 36, verse 1. Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. And then they list the generations of Esau. I'm not going to read those generations, though. You can read them if you like to. But then, yes, Genesis 36, we're going to go down to verse 8. And thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. And these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites in Mount Seir. And then it gives his generations all the way down. And then from there, we can then go to Ezekiel 35 and 3. The Lord hates you, Esau. For what you have done to the nation of Israel. And the Lord is going to have payback on you, Esau, and the nation of Edom. And it's going to be coming very soon. This whole nation of America is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear fire very soon. And it will be the Lord's wrath. It will be his indignation, his fervent heat, and he will melt the elements. But then this is Ezekiel 35. And then we're going to start at verse 2. Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it. And say unto it, Thus saith the Lord God, Yahweh, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee. I will stretch out my hand against thee. I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh. Why is he going to do that? Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and thou hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. So, when our iniquity has ended, our people, we weren't obeying the Lord's law, statutes, and commandments. So, he continuously put us into slavery and into captivity, I should say, because we continuously not obey the Lord's law, statutes, and commandments. Even till this day, our people still don't obey the Lord's law, statutes, and commandments. So that's why this place has to get destroyed. Yes. And so much we can even go into why Esau hates the nation of Israel, coming from his brother Jacob. And then we'll go to Genesis 25:31 again, or Genesis 25 again, and 21. And Esau, he sold his birthright to Jacob, and that's why Esau doesn't like or has a perpetual hatred for the nation of Israel. And actually, we can so much even get into. No, we're just gonna start from there. We're just gonna start from 27, I suppose. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field. Sounds like the so-called white man. They love to hunt, right? A man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison meat. But Rebekah loved Jacob, and Jacob sawed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright, because he was the firstborn. So the firstborn male gets the birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. So Esau sold his birthright for a piece of meat. That just goes to show how foul the nation of Esau could really be. Let's go to Genesis 27 to further explain on why the nation of Esau would hate the nation of Israel perpetually, which means forever lasting. So yes, we're going to go to Genesis 27 and 38. Yes. And earlier in this chapter, Jacob received the blessing from his father Isaac. And then now Esau is so much asking for a blessing as well. Jacob so much took Isaac's or Esau's blessing. It just pretty much wasn't meant for him to have it in the first place. He sold his birthright. What blessing would he get? And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven above. And by the sword shalt thou live. And by the sword, Esau loves guns. Those are present day swords. Of course, they didn't have that technology back then, but weapons of war, swords, things like that. Esau loves all of that stuff. Yes. And by the sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at an end. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. So the nation of Esau, they've had a perpetual hatred for the nation of Jacob since the beginning, since they've started. So then next, I'm going to go to Obadiah, verse 1, or chapter 1, verse 8. So lucky. Just give me one moment. And this is the Lord also, referencing to the nation of Edom, Esau. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau, and thy mighty men, O Timon, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. So for the violence that the nation of Esau has committed to the nation of Israel, you could reference that to the centuries that just has passed, the 17th, 18th, 19th century, where the nation of Israel has been in captivity to the nation of Esau. In our captivity, we've been put through very degrading circumstances, far to what, you should be allowed, feeding babies to alligators, killing our so-called Native American, tribesmen, things like that. Rape, pillage, murder, the usual 9. The destruction of the entire earth, the extinction of species off the face of the planet. The bison population was, I believe, 4.4 million, or I believe 10 million, and was reduced to a population of 4,000 under the control of Esau. So that just goes to show everything that the nation of Esau touches at this point gets utterly destroyed. And Esau is, the man of the world. He is the ruler of this world, the so-called elites that control the world in the background, that fund the wars, things like that. They have pretty much squeezed this earth dry of all resources that it can. The water is polluted, the air is polluted, food is polluted, our bodies are polluted. The list goes on to the wickedness that the nation of Esau has done. And that's why the Lord hates you, because you are a wicked nation. So with that, I'm going to end the lesson. It might be a part 2 on it. But for now, I'll say shalom.